It's a rainy, cold mess, and I came out here because the rain started to subside, and then it decided to start raining harder again. So I'm just preparing the solid mount shifter from Garagistic to go in. If you look right there, I've paint marked the set screws. I've also used a little bit of blue Loctite on those to keep them in place. It's going to be a high vibration area. And I've also added some, you can see a paint mark there. And you can see a paint mark there. And that actually corresponds to the grooves that are cut onto the threaded portion. Because this lower portion of this shifter is height adjustable, and that dictates the throw. One problem that I am running into, and I don't know why this is, you can still see I have a threaded section there, and you can see the groove that's cut into it. I'll put an arrow at it so you can see what I'm talking about. This thing stopped threading down. I don't know why. I backed out the set screws, and it didn't seem to make a difference, so I don't know whether it's because there's still some stuff left over on the threads that were machined. I don't know. It's also pretty damn tight. I'm having a hard time getting it to back off, so I might have to find 2 nuts that are the correct size here at the top. I have no idea what thread that is. It's definitely not metric. It's standard. Another thing to note, all these set screws, it's like 3/32, and yeah, it's all standard stuff. Not really surprised. Even if you work on all metric stuff, when you're building any type of track car, a lot of the accessories use standard Allens and things like that, so you really need a set of hex keys that are in standard or fractional. I also need to go out and remove the stock shifter that's in there, and I'm going to go ahead and just going to go for it. I'm going to get soaked. I have no way to avoid it at this point. It just kind of is what it is. So I'm going to pull the stock shifter out, and then we're going to go ahead and get our solid mount shifter and our dual shear selector rod installed, which I have right here. Yeah, I'm hiding with the lawn equipment. It's kind of been the day that it is. Oh yeah, the rain has not let up at all. So I'm just going to live with it, and I'll take you guys along for the ride. I really wish I had a garage. It would make life so much easier right now. So before we go into the car, let's talk about the stock shifter and some of the inherent flaws. You have a 2-piece selector rod, or I'm sorry, shift lever. It actually has a rubber piece that isolates the lower section and the upper section so you don't get any vibration or force feedback through the handle. So there's a point right there where slop develops. Now currently I'm in neutral, and this is the slop left and right in neutral, and that's from the shifter bushings, just the selector shaft or the selector rod, and a whole bunch of other things that, well, stop working together nicely over time. Now we're in gear, and you can see there's that side-to-side slop. The reason for that side-to-side slop is I'm missing a plastic washer, and that plastic washer somehow helps reduce that. But even when you're in gear, there will still be some of that side-to-side slop. Second, pretty long throw. Third, fourth, fifth, right? And every time I go into gears at the extreme limits, you see that the shifter likes to move. Like it's there's a clear shift gate, but it's kind of vague. And the right there you can still see. And that's just from slop from the actual shifter itself. So we're going to go into the car in this miserable freaking rain, and we're going to get rid of this stuff. And so, I don't know if you can see this, but this is just slop within the shifter itself. I mean, I'm trying to... There's just inherent slop within the shifter right here. So that's part of our problem. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and remove it. Got a clip. And that gets our selector shaft mostly freed. We're gonna flip. We got a joint up here. It's like a call it the guide bearing bolt. Flip that up now. And the solid mount shifter actually eliminates all of this stuff right here. So this shifter support arm, that'll be gone once installed. There we go. And then we'll just pull this. Now I'm actually just going to pull the whole shifter down and out. There we go. Shifter is removed. Back inside the car now. That is the sandwich plate that has to sit in the transmission tunnel. And as you'll see, it's kind of floating there right now. What I have are 2 magnetic trays underneath the car that are holding this in place. Once I get 2 of the bolts going, it should be fine. So it's going to be a little bit of a ginger process. Is obviously not ideal. If you have somebody who can help you, that's really the best solution. But I'm doing this solo today, and it is what it is. So I'm leaving all these bolts slightly loose because before I tighten them down, I want to make sure that the shifter is centered as much as possible. So, you know, I still have some wiggle room there. Yeah, right there it seems to be pretty decent. Yeah, there we go. And now it's just going to be a matter of torquing these securing bolts down. And I'm just going to sort of crisscross back and forth. I use blue Loctite on all of these, and I also clean the bolts and thread holes before inserting these with some brake parts cleaner. You know, I don't know how susceptible this will be to like vibrations loosening it up, but you know, I just want to remove that as a problem or potential issue. Obviously the shifter is not hooked up to anything right now, so it is wiggling back and forth, somewhat in the way. Now, I don't remember seeing a torque spec or any information on these. I think snug is as far as you really need to go here. Now, snug is not a torque spec, of course, and I am kind of keen on torque specs. But in the situation where you're not given them, you've got to use some level of common sense, which is why I'm just using an Allen key and running these things in by hand. I'm not really going to be able to kill them or over torque them this way. I think a T-handle would be best, but don't have T-handles. It's on the list of things to get eventually. Alright, sweet. Let's see if I can get a little more out of these if I put the key in sideways. I don't know if I'll have the room to work with. Yeah, it's kind of a loss. All right, we'll call that good for now. And I think for now, what I want to do is I want to get the selector rod installed underneath the car, which is this guy right here. So we're back under the car, and here is our dual shear selector rod, and that's going to eliminate our side-to-side slop. Now the question is, which way does it get installed? Does it get installed with the bend going upward, or does it get installed like this? Well, the answer is number 2, and the reason for that is it needs to clear the gebo and the drive shaft. So if it goes like this, it will interfere. If it goes like this, you will be fine. I've also brought in a flex joint right over there just to kind of test this, but this is going to be a little bit tricky to install. I don't know if I'll be able to film getting it in, or you'll be able to see anything while I'm getting it in, but I'll do my best here. So there is a little bit of a difference with the swivel joint on the selector shaft for the transmission. If you have the updated style, you're going to have to do some filing. I'll do a brief comparison here up on screen while I'm shoving this this pin in place. But the original versions, you would have to use washers, like these yellow plastic washers, to compensate for some fitment. You don't have to do that anymore because now that washer is technically built in. Essentially, you have an issue here where I think the dual shear selector rod was designed off of the older version for what it would look like. That doesn't exactly match up with what you need now, so just be aware of that. Should be fine. But, you know, once I figured out that problem, it installed pretty easy. So, all right, now just push the E-clip in place. All right, cool. All right, let's get out and back in the car, and we'll see how this thing feels when it shifts. I just threw the wheel back on just for demonstration purposes, but if my hand is here, I only have to go, you know, that far to shift. Like, it's just a easy reach over. But with that said, you know, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, you know, it just feels really nice. You know, there's still a little bit of wiggle, but some of that too is also from the transmission itself. But man, the shifts are just nice and crisp, and everything just feels really nice. And I mean, the throw, in my opinion, here is perfect. It's, you know, you don't want a throw that's too short because that is somewhat not working with you either. You want to be able to feel the shift gates, and in this case, it feels really, really good. And, you know, sorry I couldn't show you too much from under the car. It's just, there isn't any room under there. It's freaking raining. I tried to do my best on that. But you should see, I think you understand the general grasp of how everything works and how it goes together. Very simple, pretty straightforward. Obviously, this shifter simplifies things significantly. And I'll be very interested to see, you know, what it's like, you know, once the car is actually on the road. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, leave it in the comment box below. As always, comment, rate, subscribe. And I will see you guys for the next video. And hopefully the next video is this car actually going on a test drive. We'll see. But other than that, later guys. Appreciate all the support. And see you for the next video.